Happy New Year. This is an entry in a playlist. This is a Flat Earth playlist. This is an entry about dome. Okay? I am reading from my website, where sciencemeetsreligion.blogspot.com, but it links you right to the Bible. I am going to tell you what it says about dome, okay? And I am reading from, I think this is probably the version called The Message, okay? But I'm going to read you some other versions, okay? Let's start with Psalm 19:3. Their words aren't heard, their voices aren't recorded, but their silence fills the earth. Unspoken truth is everywhere. God makes a huge dome for the sun, a superdome. The morning sun's a new husband leaping from his honeymoon bed, the day-breaking sun, athlete racing to the tape. Okay, so Psalms 19, somewhere between line 3 and 5, says God makes a huge dome for the sun, a superdome. I have this version. This one says he pitched a tent for the sun. Okay, this one says dome. That one says pitched a tent. Let me read the next one. Ezekiel 1, line 22 to 24. Over the heads of the living creatures was something like a dome, shimmering, like a sky full of cut glass, vaulted over their heads. Under the dome, one set of wings was extended towards the others, and another set of wings covered their bodies. And while they moved, I heard the wings. It was the roar of a great waterfall, like the sound of a strong God, the noise of battlefields. When they stopped, they folded their wings. Okay, so that's Ezekiel 1. Probably from the Message version. From the version that I'm holding, 1 line 22, guess what this says? It doesn't use the word dome, but it uses the word vault. It says, over the heads of the animals, a sort of vault, gleaming like crystal, arched above their heads. Under this vault, the wings stretched out. Okay, so some versions say dome. Okay. I had another life before domestic violence has me torn away, and I used to have these little clear, it looked like a cereal bowl, but it was upside down, it was clear, and it had the constellations on it. And if you had the flashlight gizmo thing, you can make the constellations appear on your ceiling with this thing. But that's kind of what we think is going on there. So Ezekiel 1, same chapter, a couple further down, line 25 through 28, this one says, and then they stood with their folded wings, and there was a voice from above the dome over their heads. Above the dome, there was something that looked like a throne. Sky blue sapphire with a human figure towering above the throne. Okay, so this one says above the vault over their heads was something that looked like a sapphire, shaped like a throne. High up on his throne was a being, looked like a man. Okay, so I think I got some other versions here. Okay, the Good News translation says above the dome. That might have been Good News we're reading instead of Message. Good News translation, GNT. Above the dome, there was something that looked like a throne made of sapphire. The New Revised Standard Version of Ezekiel 1:26 says, above the dome over their heads there was something like a throne in the appearance of a sapphire. Contemporary English version leaves out dome. I saw what looked like a throne made of sapphire. English. How about New American Bible? This one calls it a firmament. Above the firmament over their heads was the likeness of a throne that looked like a sapphire. Above the firmament, Douay Rheims version. One of these versions says, how about this one? Above the dome over their heads there appeared something like lapis lazuli in the form of a throne, which is, we know that to be like a blue stone if you studied the stones. Okay, so the gospel according to AI says, what did Ezekiel see? Ezekiel saw a dome that sparkles like ice and frightening, a sky that looks like crystal, a throne that looks like a sapphire gem, a human on the throne, the shape of a human, and brightness around the throne that looks like a rainbow. There was a voice above the dome. Okay, so dome. Okay, so flat earth welcomes you, okay? And it shouldn't matter the shape of the earth, how you treat people, but it does matter who you can trust and who you can trust with your kids and whose opinions that you value, because there's a lot of fake news out there. Okay? Happy New Year.